Okay, so we do have the hood latches in. We decided to paint those. That was on Colton's behalf. He's like, dude, we gotta paint these things. They look horrible. So we come back here even. See, they're all nice and black. Again, that's just spray paint, but it's like an enamel, so it should last longer. Again, on mine. And they're gonna go bad over time. It's a latch, right? It's getting rubbed. Like even here when we get the hood back, you know, that's going to happen. Like the hood's got a latch on. It's gonna rip the paint off. It's just, it's a usable item. But the area around it, you know, we tried to get as nice as we could. So on her car, we fixed all that. If you can see here too, we've got the awesome Powerhouse Racing power steering tank. I've had this in my car will be 6 years. Now, not this exact one, but I've been using the first iteration they had, which was like a completely welded item. The only problem they had back in the day was there's actually a filter inside of this, and it works. I am like an example of this thing working. So there's a filter down inside of this little tank. Inside that filter, then it catches all the debris that's inside of your system. Believe it or not, a lot of junk breaks down these lines over time, and that filter caught it all. Well, eventually got clogged. The problem was the old tank didn't have a serviceable filter. Like there was a filter in it, but you couldn't service it. So I told them about this, and they're like, oh crap, and they were kind enough to send me this one. So it kind of worked out in my favor, and now that I have the wife's car, I put one on hers, because I like that. There's literally, here, we'll take the top off and I'll show you this. We got plenty of time. I'm like rushing all the time. For once I have time. Has this little spring in it. Pretty nice little cap, billet cap. They make this all in-house. You see down in there, there is a 100 micron stainless steel filter. And you can pull that filter out. I'm gonna put this back on. You can pull that filter out and it catches all the debris. Now, personally, once you go through the first round, especially for a car that has an original rack like mine does and hers does, once it catches all the debris and you clean it one time, you never really have to clean it again. It hasn't gotten dirty since. So I've been pretty fortunate, but it's nice to have that. I'd rather it catch it in there than screw up the rack. It makes your rack last a lot freaking longer. I also went ahead and got their high pressure line. So I actually had the drift motion one on my car. The problem with the drift motion one is it's way too long. Now I haven't put her engine in. I'm surprised this isn't a 90 degree and not instead of this 45, but we'll see. I guess once it goes on like this. I'm not really sure. I would assume this would have been 90 though, so we'll see. The only other thing too I just ordered is an M18 that goes here. This is another low pressure side, so it goes from here down to here. That is an M18 for this little hole here. It's an M18 by 1.5. This one here is an M16 by 1.5. But that is supplied by Powerhouse Racing. That big one they don't supply. Again, that's not part of their kit, right? So their kit, when you buy it, where is the fitting for it? Do I have it over here? Do I have it over here? Where did I put it? It has this little guy on it. Sorry, I wrapped it up because I didn't want to make a mess, but I hold on to this. This is what comes off of that low pressure side. And you just slip on a hose. Well, I didn't want to do that. I want to make it AN to AN because it looks better. A little bit more of a direct route too, because I'd have to take the line and like snake it down and come in like this. Now I can go like that, straight up and down. So I like that idea a lot better. Now's a good time to say thank you again, Red Horse, for all this because I'm able to make these awesome lines because of Red Horse fittings. If you can see in here, I have everything. So I have the ability to use the either PTFE, which I got the lines for that too, or I can use one of their normal Viton style. So it is a rubberized coated line and braided inside line. Okay, so that's what I use on my car personally. I actually use just Viton line. I do not use any PTFE on that car. And the line has not broken down yet. Very, very impressed. So I'll be going over that here, not probably today's video, but I'll be going like a breakdown between the two and kind of just showing you guys some examples. I'll also be going over, we show you here, we got fuel pumps, we've got a fuel filter, and they actually make a regulator also. So I didn't even know they made a regulator, so I'm gonna give that a shot. And I'm trying to find a cool way to mount it in the car. So we'll do something neat with that too. Guys, what's going on? What's cracking? We've got Colton. Let them see that pretty face. Look at that, sexy as hell. Oh damn, hit him with the jawline. All right, so what we're doing here next, guys, we're actually installing the actual torque converter. This is a factory torque converter. Yes, my wife's car is using a factory torque converter. She doesn't need all the power, does she, Colton? How's my wife drive? Yeah. Slow, very slow. So this will be perfectly fine. This is a factory Aristo A340E transmission. This is a turbo transmission, but we're gonna use a factory torque converter. I did go ahead and clean up the bell housing, but what we're gonna do here first is we're gonna go ahead and put this on. Now, I don't have the actual book and I try to look up online. And then again, speaking with Jose Valia, all you need to do, there's 2 notches here. You need to make sure you line those notches up with what's inside the transmission here. I don't think I'll be able to see them even. You can see just barely, there's like a little notch inside there, inside of that ring. You need to line those up, and you need to make sure this is pressed on the whole way. So just as you feel it go on, be like, oh, okay, that's good enough. No, make sure you press this on. Shift it back and forth, whatever you do, make sure it's fully on. So I'm gonna ask Colton here, go ahead and see if you can lift her up here. And if I need to, I'm gonna help him out here. It's not light, believe it or not. Yeah, again, this is not as easy as you guys think. Okay guys, so when you're putting this in, thank you Chris at Night Run Garage, I saw it from the book, but it still wasn't going in, right? So Colton, his infinite wisdom, lined up a mark here, then lined up a mark in the bell housing, showing where the little notches are on that actual, not bell housing, but on the converter. And it was not going on. So you literally had to keep spinning it until it just finally just slid as you're pushing on it. You're gonna pull up, push, and just spin it around till it finally just clicks in, because this needs to be sitting back under the face of the bell housing itself. If it is not, then you're not the whole way in. You need to make sure this thing is fully seated. In the book, it says you can have up to 0.1 millimeters out past the face, but you don't want that. You want it to be sunken in. The next up, what we got to do is actually attach it to that beautiful engine there. And we have to also put on the flex plate. And there is 2 other plates you need to put on first. So not first, but you have this plate, which this actually goes to the crank first. Then you have your flex plate, and then you have this plate like so. It'll sit like this. So you got to put the one plate, flex plate, then the secondary plate, and then once you put that all on, you then can put the last bolts on. Once you slide the transmission and engine together, you can put those last bolts on, then attach it to the actual converter, and you should be done then at that point. Again, I'll show you a little bit more here, but I just want to talk about that before we go through with it. What's going on, guys? My dad's here helping me, Mr. Curtis Leroy Scott, and we are moving my engine right now, and we're gonna hook it up to my transmission to then drop it in Kat's car. So yeah, this shouldn't be too bad here. Again, it's twisting on its own because it's on this, so I have to let it down slowly here, and then bolt it up. So what I have to do first, there is a little flex plate here you have to put on. You want to make sure you use red Loctite for these bolts. You should use new bolts also. Once you put those on and tighten those up, they should go to around 58 foot-pounds, or you can go a little higher, like 60 foot-pounds. Once you get to that, then you can mate up the transmission, and that's really it. So, okay, let's go ahead and do that and get this done.
I know it's only in my head sometimes when you say to me that I'm not good enough, not good enough. And I know it's only in my head sometimes when you say to me that I'm not good enough. My mind's like a freak show. I know it's only in my head sometimes when you say to me that I'm not good enough, not good enough. My mind's like a freak show.
Taking off the bolts right now for the little cross member there. That's most likely gonna have to be welded and changed up. Kat, can you go ahead and get down the ground and help? Maybe the babies can jump out and help.
Okay.
Okay? I wanted to do this. I want to make sure she got to see it, and I really wanted my dad here. He's actually happy, guys. It's late in the day. He's got a lot of driving to do here later, so he's tired out. So yeah, take this off, and then next is actually putting it in. There is only 2 motor mounts on these. So you got one here and here. And when we put it in, we're gonna put it in from the top, go down into like so, and it needs to mount, so we can see here, and right here, the slots, and it sits down inside of there. With the automatic transmission, it is much smaller and thinner at the rear, so that should help us a good bit, and should make this a little bit easier installing it.
Rain, cobblestones, I just try to keep me away from the crowd. I'm tired of the street lights, my eyes just follow blurred lines. The night's gonna know the sunrise can bring me back to life. Can bring me back to life. To life. Can bring me back to life.
guys, sorry for all that. There was a ton of dead time, but it's in. Look at this. Oh, that looks so freaking amazing. Yes, it's kind of whitewashed right now because of all the light, so the color's a little off, but man, does it look good. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. It really makes me want to put a fancier intake manifold on it now though. This looks good, and that's all powder coated, and we have a stamp we're going to put on that. Bear Boost Performance is working on that. Look at that titanium hardware from Bear Boost Performance too. Sick. And again, this is painted, that's powder coated, that's why it's different. I didn't want to powder coat this and take any chances. But yeah, it looks really, really good. I'm really happy with this. Again, more titanium studs from Bear Boost Performance. Everything went in nice. It is a lot easier with an automatic transmission, I can tell you that much. And you guys probably saw there, we were laughing too. I'm like, again, we have this and we didn't utilize it at all. Again, I was pretty much maxing, where's it at? Maxing that bad boy out over there. Thank you, Colton. You and your beer gut for getting under there. Look at that. Oh, is that paid for?
Yes, sir.
In full, baby.
In full.
Getting this in was a big deal because I wanted to make sure it fit, make sure it looked good. And the next biggest thing is, you know, running lines. So the next big thing we're gonna be doing is going through all this stuff here from Red Horse Performance. Big shout out to them. Again, you guys already saw a video there showing all the stuff coming in. So the next big thing is going to be installing all the lines, which Colt and I will be doing that. And then once we get a good bit done on this, I'm gonna kind of let this sit off to the side, finish working on my car, and then Colton's got the NAT project.
Yes, sir.
So we're going all out in his. You guys will have to watch that. That's gonna be a fun I've never done an NAT. It's pretty much the same premises, but it's, you know, the heads are actually different. We have to work on getting a crank sensor to read. This doesn't have a, cam sensor reading. So it works a little bit different because it's a distributor car. So that should be fun. And his car is all original. I mean, literally bone stock car. It's an original LSD car, which is unheard of. So that'll be a fun project. But again, I wanted to show this. Another thing we're gonna probably do this weekend, I have coilovers I wanna get into this car. I have Cat's brand new exhaust over there. I had one on it, the same exact one that I have the first one to get it, and then I told Bolka to buy it, then I told him to buy it, and I've recommended it to a couple other people now. He ended up buying the one Kat already had on her car, and now I ordered another one because he needed his ASAP because, you know, you need that vroom life.
No stock life no more.
No stock life no more. Anyway, so I'm done, I digress. We're gonna go ahead and put on these AC lines, and then we're gonna work on his car some.
Good.
All right, so I wanted to show you guys this too. Colton, in his infinite wisdom, said that we need to polish up these lines. They were really crusty. I didn't want to like sand them, so he just used polished. And what'd you use with it? Or
Brillo pad.
A Brillo pad. And just was gentle with it enough because he didn't want to break through the aluminum, and I didn't want to either. And right now we're replacing all the seals. We're gonna pick them all off and putting brand new ones on. So just sit those down the ground, and then we'll measure them up, see which size we need. So we're doing the hard line here first, and I'm debating whether just to get new soft lines just so I can get that done out of the way, especially with the way everything's much easier to get to right now. It's better to do it now than later. Colton, this might as well just show is like this is your car, right? Volka's probably gonna comment something like that. So yeah, we're putting new seals on. Went to Advanced Auto, you get these for like $6, bought those early today. Just buy a whole kit so we can just figure out which size we need, and then I have extras in case something else goes wrong. But I want to replace every single seal. I'm not going to replace the soft lines. If I do have an issue, I'll buy them. They're like $200 a piece, so at this time I just don't see the point in it. For some reason I clean up the hard lines. You know, I'm trying to save money where I can here. This is a nice car, but I actually do have twins coming still, so, you know, twin turbo, twin baby. So, you know, I got to be careful. I can only spend so much, but it's been a pretty fun project. So yeah, move this up because we're going to put Colton's car here. All right, guys, what's going on? What's cracking? Oh boy, I'm excited. Kat was out here earlier. You guys saw her a little bit. I didn't really like her being around too much. Not that I don't love having my wife around, but when we were putting the engine in, so God forbid something happened, something snapped, she was putting her hand on it. Yeah, she's a little bit more important than a car, and the babies are a little bit more important, so I try to keep her away. But she's all excited. I'm gonna take this off here real quick, because that gives it the effect. When you see that, that is just, oh my gosh. That is beautiful. So I want to show you a couple things we've got done here. We went to put the whole AC system in now. So I should say system, but all the AC lines are in. So they're looking good here. So yeah, the AC system is done here. We've got the condenser in. I do need to get a new dryer yet. I painted this all black. You'll never see it. It's not perfect either, but literally they'll never see it between the radiator, the intercooler. We gotta come over here too. I have to put this in yet. This is a transcooler from again, Powerhouse Racing. They were kind enough to send this over, which is going to be pretty sweet. So I can't wait to get that installed too. That is going to be nice because it literally fits in the front, no cutting. It literally bolts right in. It comes with the brackets, all the bolts you need, and comes with the dash 6 fittings you need to use also. I'll be doing a whole video on how to install the lines and making them all yourself. So right now, there's like no kit for that, right? So I'm gonna make a certain length, show you guys what you need to make that fit, what fittings you need, how many you need, the exact length you need, so on and so forth. So we'll go over that one day. We do have the Powerhouse Racing's tank in it. I'm trying to think of what else. Colton's behind the camera here, guys. He's been helping out. Did we go over the high pressure line that's in it now?
No.
So this is the Powerhouse Racing high pressure line there. You can see it's a nice tight fit there. This eliminates that whole power steering yada yada crap underneath. It just makes it a lot cleaner. I have a drift motion on my car, drift motion high pressure line, and it's so long it goes back and wraps around over past the oil filter and comes back up. It works and it's never let me down, but it's literally in the way of everything. It's not ideal. So this is a much cleaner, nicer look. Again, it's nice. I'm very impressed. Is the car perfect? Is it a SEMA car? No. But is it good for a good street car with a good paint job on it now and a nice engine, cleaned up the way it should be? I think so, especially from when the car came, guys. If I can flip up a picture here, you guys can see what the car looked like, right? It was just really, really crappy and really just janky. It needed a lot of work. I mean, the body was destroyed. It needed true body work. And this wasn't just a paint job. Like Travis and Bieber's Auto Body and the entire team there, Karen and his brother and the entire team had to truly do body work. They had to re-weld things. I mean, it was a lot of physical work. Top of that, they took off all the rock guard. They did a lot of stuff they didn't have to do, and I can't thank them enough for all of that. So I probably said that enough. I'm just really, really happy to have it here. I'm really happy to have Colton help me out. I'm very fortunate to have good friends. My buddy Tony is coming up here Friday in Gagliardo. That is Stance Stagger Media. I know you guys haven't seen BBS GTR in a while. He should be here, and I don't know the next time you guys will ever see Bolka. He's busy working. So, yeah. I'm excited. I'm pumped.